You don't attract what you want, you attract who you are. Dr. Wayne Dyer. Does it ever feel like, no matter how hard you try, you keep finding yourself in the same relationship patterns, with the same types of people facing the same heartbreak? You tell yourself this time will be different. This time you've learned, only to end up hurt, confused, and wondering what went wrong. If this resonates with you, you're not alone. Many of us, in our search for love, end up stuck in cycles of unhealthy relationships. We chase connection, companionship, and affection, but often find ourselves entangled with the wrong partners. Why does this happen? And more importantly, how can we break the cycle? In today's video, we'll explore the deeper reasons why you might be attracting the wrong partners, the hidden patterns in your relationship choices, and how you can finally break free to find the love you truly deserve. Sit back, open your heart, and let's dive deep into the journey of understanding love, self-worth, and healing. There's a common saying, we don't see people as they are, we see them as we are. This applies especially to romantic relationships. The partners we choose often reflect the unresolved wounds we carry within ourselves. Without realizing it, you may be unconsciously drawn to people who reflect your own inner struggles, fears, or unmet needs. You might be thinking, but I don't want to choose people who hurt me. I want love and kindness. And that's true. Consciously you do. But your subconscious mind is often wired to recreate familiar patterns, even if those patterns are painful. If you grew up feeling unworthy, unseen, or unloved, you may unknowingly seek out partners who reinforce those feelings. Your past experiences, especially from childhood, shape your emotional blueprint, the lens through which you see relationships. If you experienced neglect, emotional distance, or instability as a child, you might find yourself drawn to partners who make you feel the same way, because it's what feels familiar. But here's the good news. Once you become aware of these patterns, you can break free from them. Reflect on your past relationships and identify any recurring patterns. What emotional experiences do these partners bring out in you? Are they similar to feelings you've experienced earlier in life? Write them down and start to look for connections. Many people find themselves in unhealthy relationships simply because they fear being alone. It's one of the most common fears in the human experience. The thought of sitting with yourself, with no one to validate or comfort you, can be terrifying. So, you settle. You stay in relationships that don't serve you, or you chase people who don't truly value you. This fear can push you into relationships that are toxic, draining, or unfulfilling. You might tell yourself, at least I'm not alone. But deep down, you know something's missing. The problem is, when you fear being alone, you'll often choose anyone rather than waiting for the right one. The truth is, the only way to attract a healthy, loving relationship is to first become comfortable with yourself. If you're constantly running from solitude, you're giving your power away. You're telling yourself that you need someone else to feel whole. But what if you could reverse that mindset? What if, instead of seeing alone time as something to avoid, you saw it as an opportunity to connect with yourself, to grow, and to nurture the relationship that matters most, the one you have with you? When you're whole and happy on your own, you'll no longer settle for anyone who doesn't add genuine value to your life. Spend intentional time alone. Turn off distractions. Avoid the urge to fill the silence with noise, and just sit with yourself. Journal about how it feels. What emotions come up? What fears arise? This is the beginning of healing your relationship with solitude. Love can be intoxicating, especially at the beginning. That rush of excitement, the butterflies in your stomach, the intensity of new romance. It's a high like no other. But sometimes people mistake this thrill for love itself. They chase partners who give them that intense emotional rush, but the relationship quickly burns out, leaving them confused and hurt. If you've ever found yourself drawn to bad boys or bad girls, or people who are unpredictable and emotionally unavailable, you might be chasing the adrenaline of infatuation rather than the steady, nurturing love of a healthy partnership. Infatuation is intense, fast, and often unsustainable. It's driven by the excitement of the unknown, the thrill of the chase, and the hope that this person will finally fill the void you feel. But real love, the kind that lasts, is built slowly. It's grounded in trust, respect, and mutual care. It's not always fireworks. Sometimes it's a warm, steady flame. If you find yourself constantly chasing the emotional highs of new relationships, it might be time to ask yourself, am I looking for love or am I looking for an escape? Next time you feel the rush of new romance, take a step back. Give yourself space to observe your feelings without acting on them immediately. Is this connection based on genuine compatibility, or are you simply drawn to the excitement of the new? Love requires vulnerability. True connection can only happen when you open your heart fully to another person, when you allow yourself to be seen, flaws and all. But for many people, vulnerability is terrifying. You might fear being hurt, rejected, or abandoned. So you protect yourself by choosing partners who keep you at arm's length, who aren't fully available to love you back. This can create a pattern of choosing emotionally unavailable people, partners who are distant, avoidant, or unwilling to commit. On the surface, you might think, I'm chasing love, but what's really happening is that you're avoiding the deep vulnerability that real love requires. Here's a truth that might surprise you. Vulnerability is not weakness. In fact, it's one of the greatest strengths you can possess. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you open the door to true intimacy and connection. Yes, there's a risk of being hurt, but there's also the possibility of experiencing a love that's deeper than anything you've known before. If you keep choosing partners who can't meet you emotionally, it's a sign that you might be afraid of fully showing up in love yourself. Healing begins when you let go of the fear and embrace vulnerability as a necessary part of building a healthy, loving relationship. Practice vulnerability in small ways. The next time you're tempted to hide your feelings, share them instead. Be honest about your emotions, even when it feels uncomfortable. This will help you build the courage to open up in deeper ways over time. Sometimes the problem isn't just the partners you're choosing. It's the way you sabotage the relationships that could actually work. You might start dating someone who's kind, caring, and genuinely interested in you, but after a while, you start to find reasons to pull away. Maybe they're too nice or too boring, or you convince yourself they're just not the one. This is a form of self-sabotage. When you've been hurt in the past, or when you don't believe you're truly deserving of love, it can feel safer to push people away before they get too close. You might tell yourself that you're protecting yourself, but what you're really doing is reinforcing the belief that love isn't meant for you. The truth is, you are deserving of love. Real love, the kind that feels safe, steady, and fulfilling. But to allow that love into your life, you need to stop sabotaging your own happiness. This means being willing to stick around when things get uncomfortable. It means recognizing when you're pushing someone away out of fear and choosing to stay open instead. When you stop running from love, you'll be surprised at how much beauty and connection can unfold in your relationships. When you notice yourself pulling away or finding reasons to end a good relationship, pause and ask yourself, is this a genuine issue? Or am I sabotaging something that could be great? Be honest with yourself and give the relationship a chance to grow. Journeying through the experience of love and its misconceptions may bring to mind your own experience. How have you recognized this quality in yourself and others? How did this affect you? What did you learn from that experience? Be sure to comment below for the next person, and we may create a video on it. Whilst there, download our free Diamonds Manifest with Ease guide. Details are in description below. One of the most powerful shifts you can make in your relationship patterns is moving from a place of need to a place of desire. When you enter relationships from a place of need, you seek someone to fill the voids within you. You might need validation, security, or companionship because you haven't yet given those things to yourself. This neediness can lead you to cling to the wrong partners, those who offer fleeting relief but can't truly nourish your soul. But when you shift to desire, everything changes. Desire is rooted in choice. You want a relationship not because you need someone to fix you, but because you desire to share your life with someone who adds value to it. You're no longer seeking someone to complete you, but to enhance the fullness of the life you're already creating. When you focus on building a life that you genuinely love, one filled with your passions, joys, and personal growth, you'll no longer feel the same desperation for a relationship. Instead, you'll be empowered by the knowledge that you are complete as you are, and any relationship that enters your life is a beautiful bonus, not a necessity. This shift will not only bring healthier partners into your life, but it will also allow you to show up in those relationships from a place of strength and confidence. Actionable insight. reflect on your life right now. What are the things that bring you joy outside of relationships? What passions, hobbies, or dreams are you neglecting because of your focus on finding love? Make a commitment to start pursuing these things and watch how your sense of self-worth begins to grow. We've all grown up with ideas about what love should look like, often fed to us by fairy tales, movies, and societal expectations. We imagine a grand romance where everything falls into place perfectly and our partner sweeps us off our feet. But real love doesn't always fit neatly into these narratives. Real love is often quieter, steadier, and more grounded than the idealized versions we've been shown. If you're constantly chasing a fairy tale version of love, you might overlook the genuine, deep connections that are right in front of you. You might dismiss people who don't match your fantasy because they don't check all the boxes. But in doing so, you miss out on the kind of love that is built on real, lasting foundations. It's time to let go of the idea that love needs to look a certain way. Real love is built through shared experiences, mutual respect, and a deep emotional connection that grows over time. It's not about being swept off your feet. It's about finding someone who stands beside you, even when the winds of life get rough. This doesn't mean you should settle for less than you deserve, but it does mean being open to love in forms that might surprise you. The perfect partner might not come in the package you've been imagining, but they might be exactly what your soul needs. Take a moment to reflect on your beliefs about love. Are there any unrealistic expectations you're holding on to that might be preventing you from seeing real, genuine love? Challenge those beliefs and open your heart to love in all its forms. One of the hardest truths to accept is that the pain you've experienced in past relationships can still hold you back today. If you've been hurt, betrayed, or abandoned, it's natural to carry those wounds with you into future relationships. But when you hold on to that pain, when you allow it to define your expectations of love, you're keeping yourself trapped in the past. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful tools for breaking free from these cycles. And I'm not just talking about forgiving your past partners, I'm also talking about forgiving yourself. Forgiving yourself for the mistakes you made, for the red flags you ignored, for the times you stayed too long in relationships that weren't right for you. Forgiveness is not about excusing someone else's behavior. It's about freeing yourself from the emotional burden of carrying that pain. When you forgive, you let go of the past so that it no longer defines your future. You create space for new experiences, new people, and new love to enter your life. If you want to attract the right partner, you need to let go of the emotional baggage that's been weighing you down. This starts with a simple but powerful decision: to forgive, to release, to move forward. Actionable insight. Take some time to write a letter to someone from your past who has hurt you, whether it's an ex, a family member, or even yourself. You don't need to send it. Just express all the emotions you've been holding on to and end the letter with forgiveness. Feel the weight lift as you let go of that burden. In our pursuit of love, we often get caught up in the pressure of time. We tell ourselves we should have found the one by now, or that if we don't find love soon, we'll be alone forever. This scarcity mindset makes us anxious, impatient, and more likely to settle for partners who aren't right for us. But what if you trusted that your life is unfolding exactly as it's meant to? What if you believed that the right person will enter your life when you're both ready? What if, instead of chasing love, you focused on becoming the best version of yourself so that, when the time is right, you can meet your partner from a place of wholeness? You are exactly where you need to be. The love that's meant for you is already on its way, but it's not something you can force or rush. The best relationships are the ones that come when you're ready, when you've done the inner work to heal, to grow, and to love yourself fully. When you stop chasing love and start trusting the process, you free yourself from the anxiety of trying to control something that's ultimately out of your hands. Love will come, but it will come on its own time, not yours. Actionable insight. Practice gratitude for where you are in your journey right now. Instead of focusing on what's missing, reflect on what you've learned, how you've grown, and what you're still working on. Trust that when the time is right, the right person will enter your life, creating the love you deserve. If you've made it this far, you now have a deeper understanding of why you might be attracting the wrong partners and how to break free from those patterns. The journey toward healthy, fulfilling love isn't always easy. but it's worth every step. Remember this: the love you attract is a reflection of the love you give yourself. When you heal your wounds, embrace vulnerability, and learn to love yourself fully, you'll naturally start attracting partners who can meet you at that same level. You deserve a love that uplifts you, that makes you feel seen and cherished. But first, you must believe that you are worthy of that love. The power to create the relationship you want starts with you. To love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong romance. Oscar Wilde. The journey to love always begins within. When you cultivate self-love, you set a standard for how others should treat you. You no longer settle for partners who cannot meet your needs, nor do you chase the fleeting highs of infatuation. Instead, you stand rooted in your worth, knowing that the love you deserve will find you when you're ready, because you're no longer seeking love to complete you, but to complement the wholeness you've already found within yourself.